Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Carden. And I'm really excited for my guest today. I have Andrea Walker-Leedy with me. She is the president of Walker Publicity. And we're going to talk about PR, media, branding, all of my favorite subjects. And I'm so excited to have her on the show. So Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Yes, you have been doing this for a long time. You've been in the PR space, media space for a long time. So, Andrea, why don't you just give everyone a little bit of your backstory and how you started your company and why you're doing what you're doing today? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I started my company originally in 2007, and really it was an accident, as most small business ventures are, where I was just a few years out of college and had been doing journalism and wanting to connect in the editorial world. And so I was working for a newspaper and doing some freelance writing, both in Michigan, where I'm from, and a couple of national outlets. And you know, if anyone remembers, that time was really, we were heading into 2008 and things were really getting crazy. And newspaper organizations across the country were laying people off and outlets were shutting down. And I thought, man, I'm way too early in my career to not have a job. And so I left the newspaper that I was at, where I was a local community newspaper editor, and I was going to freelance write and help folks locally with, social media was just starting then. So I was helping local nonprofits get on social media and helping them with their PR while I looked for another job. And one thing led to another, and here I am. I took a little break and worked full time for a couple of years before I had my son. But then in 2015, really dove back in and relaunched Walker Publicity. We were a writing service solely before, relaunched Walker Publicity in 2015. So it's been a long time. I've had at least one or two clients that we've done PR or social media strategy for the last, is that 16, 17 years now. I absolutely love it. My passion is getting to connect people and share their stories. And I think everyone has this unique story to tell. And so it's been amazing. I get to meet incredible people and help them figure out what's unique about them and who they should connect with and how they share that story. And then they get to focus on what they do best. So it's been a really fun journey. I'm very, very blessed to get to do what I love.
Let's talk about some of the things. First of all, I mean, you and I are on the same page as far as you have to build a brand, you have to get featured in the media. If you're going to really be a brand that people trust,
yep,
they are going to trust a brand that is in the media and is seen and is visible. And so you and I do some similar things, but not the same things, but we have the same beliefs and the same philosophies around how to market yourself and how to market your business. What are some ways that people should, first of all, why don't you tell everyone who you work with? Like, who makes a great client for Walker Publicity?
Yeah, so we do work with a lot of nonprofits. So nonprofit organizations, because I'm passionate about nonprofit work. And so I have a whole arm of the company that we really focus on nonprofits and have tried to make it so that my for-profit clients know that a portion of their retaining us and working with us goes so that I can offer these nonprofits some pro bono work. And we choose different nonprofits throughout the year. And so we do a lot of that. And that's amazing because we can share those stories of impact that is really changing the world, whether it's local or large. We do a full nonprofit area. But then the other piece of that is really any small, mid-size organization, larger organizations that maybe have a marketing team, but don't have a PR team or need to re-strategize or need someone to come in. We have folks that I work with quarterly on a corporate level where we just come in and do brainstorming sessions and revive them into thinking about what are we not telling? How are we not connecting with our ideal clients? What are we not putting on LinkedIn? So we do a lot of startups, a lot of really any size organization. I've worked with single, entrepreneurs like us. I do a lot of training at the larger level, right? Where they have a team, they need some new life breathed into them, or they don't, they need a PR arm or they need a social media arm because they've got a sales team and they've got a marketing team. But those things are really very different, or those departments don't talk to each other. And so we can come in and say, okay, what's everybody doing? So, my ideal client understands that there's a story to tell, has a couple people who are willing to tell the story. And, I love it when there is someone who reaches out to me who says, I know thought leadership is a thing. What do I do? How do I?
That's the name of it now. It'll probably change a year from
I
now.
know. That's why I say it's a thing.
Yeah.
Because really it is just sharing your thoughts. It's being a leader. If you have thoughts and you are a leader, you are a thought leader. But if you don't tell anyone, you're not positioning. So when I first started my company, I used to have a postcard that was one of the first things I ever did to promote that said, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound?
Doesn't matter. That's right.
If you are the best and you have amazing things to say, but you don't have time to say them, or you don't know how to say them, or you don't tell anyone, nobody knows.
Right.
So really, we have a wide range of clients, and the clients that we work with consistently, and we are their partner. We do some exclusivity for different industries, which is why I work with several different industries. Because I believe if I'm saying someone's the best, right, especially doing media outreach, I like to be able to say one or two people are the best. It works better for us in a relationship with a client to be able to offer that exclusivity sometimes. So we've worked with lawyers and attorneys and tech companies and physicians, manufacturing. I'm in Detroit, so we do quite a bit of work with manufacturing companies on their B2B storytelling and what that looks like. So really it's, I love working with restaurants. I love helping startups. And so it really is a little of everything.
So how do you really get across to people the impact that the PR and the media can have? Because it's sort of indirect, right? And it can almost feel like it's invisible results in a way. How are you able to kind of quantify that and get across to people the value and the impact this can have on their business or on their brand?
Yeah. One of the first ways that I do that is, and the reason that it's actually the reason we offer social media management and strategy in addition to PR for folks who want to do everything, because social media and that online world is such a big part of PR now. It really, I do just as much media pitching on Instagram and LinkedIn as I do anywhere else, right? And those audiences are so targeted. Right? If you can find someone who has their own audience that is in your industry, they're targeted right to you and you can build a relationship. And so we really work on tangible results that are on the way to something big. So, everybody comes to me and says, well, we want to be on CNN or we want to be on, the morning news show. And I say, okay, well, have you done anything with an industry publication? Are you doing anything on social media? What are you doing with your current audience? So we talk about that first. And those things are very quantifiable, right? We can tell right away if your social media is working. One of the things that we love to do in the PR side of things is, a TV segment or a news article is amazing, right? But then we run with it. then it goes everywhere. Now
Right.
you've got content, right? I mean, we're doing this right now, right? We're having this podcast conversation. A lot of what I do is pitching my clients to podcasts in their industry, because now we have this beautiful piece of media.
Right.
And they can send it places and they can reshare it, and your audience is going to meet me today.
Correct.
And so one of the things I love to do is anytime a client has a news segment or an article that drops or something, of course we share it, but then I have them start tracking their website visits and their social media visits, and who followed them and who engaged. So we track on the back end what happened. So a lot of times with PR, you don't think it's sales, because unless you are like the local pizza shop that gives a coupon, there's no real thing. And you shouldn't be, unless you sell pizza, don't give coupons, right?
Right.
Be that what we, thought leader, what we call it now, and share your expertise. And then we can look on that track end. And it's the reason that I say, I like to make sure everyone's talking to each other. We're going to make sure the marketing department and the sales department and the community outreach department and the business development department are all working together, because often what's quantifiable just isn't shared. Your sales team might get 4 extra calls on a day when your social media team posted something really cool. And if they don't ever talk, you can't quantify that. And so you
Right.
can't give that credit where it's due. And so the strategy part of it for me is really making sure all those pieces connect and looking at them through one lens.
Yeah, I love it. One of the things that is so hard for a lot of times people in business to understand is that, there are a lot of holes in what they're doing. And even though the results are there and they're happening, if it's just like you said, if they don't talk to each other, if they're not sharing the results, if you're not really looking at the data, if you're not really looking at things in the right way, those results can be slipping through the cracks, and you're thinking it's not working when it really is. And so if you're going to make great decisions in your business and you're going to really grow and scale your business, these are all pieces that I say you really have to close those gaps, and you have to get the left hand working with the right hand and get everything very cohesive. And so I love that you're actually doing that entire piece with people, because I feel like there are people that do social media, and then there are, and they'll post, and there are people that are out there teaching thought leadership. And then there are people that are doing the PR, and all of those people aren't, it's like you're piecemealing your marketing plan together, and it does not work. It really doesn't work very well to do that, or you're not getting the maximum results that you can get.
Well, and often somebody doesn't understand that until they work with someone like you, where you're saying, okay, let's look at your business.
Whole thing.
How do you want to make money? Where is your niche, right? And when they do that, oftentimes then they end up saying, okay, now I know, but maybe I still can't do it on my own. So I work in tandem with a lot of development coaches and business folks, where we'll just give workshops to their teams or their cohorts as they go through, because it really is and now what? Right. When I give workshops, there's a whole section of just, and now what? I feel like these days, everyone has something you can download for social media tips, and everyone has the trending things and the things to talk about. But it often you get those pieces of information. And as business owners, we're like drinking from a fire hose.
Yes.
But then still, and now what? And then we get fatigued after a month of trying whatever new thing we tried, because we didn't change our thinking.
They're all tactics, and they're all tactics. It's like, it is literally like you are throwing stuff at the wall, and not to sound cliche, but you're throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. When you don't have a cohesive strategy that can be managed and really tracked, and you can really see how it's working, you can make the shifts and the tweaks. Look, almost any kind of marketing will work if you're in front of the right audience, doing the right thing, right? But it takes that strategy and that sequence of steps that you are doing for it to really work the way it could. And just throwing a bunch of stuff out there and trying a bunch of things. And you were talking about unless they work with someone like me, because a lot of times when I get a client, they've already tried multiple things marketing, but they don't even have the business dialed in. Like they're not even super clear on what they're selling and their revenue plan and is that going to get them to their goals and their pricing. It's all of those things first before we can ever market. Right. And then when they are marketing, they're piecemealing, they're pulling all these different tactics and they're not perfecting anything at all. Any strategy, and then they're wondering why it's not working the way.
And it's easy to say, well, I've tried social media, it doesn't really work for me.
Right.
I've tried cold outreach, or I've tried email marketing, all of these things that you try. I've tried them all and they don't really work, doesn't get sales. And so, one of the first things I'll do is, especially when people have been on social media or their teams have done some things, we'll do an assessment of it and they'll say, well, it doesn't really work. Why would we invest any more time and money? And I'll say, well, what do you sell? What do you do? What is the end result? What do you try to educate people on, right?
Yes.
And who is your team and what are you experts in? And those are the things that should be getting shared, and often just because none of the tactics are teaching that.
Right.
Why I say I say I'm chief storyteller, right? Because I really just am about the story. The story then can go anywhere. Once you are so solid on your story and how to find new pieces of your story all the time, once you're solid on that and you've learned that, or you're working with somebody who can keep kind of tapping you and saying, hey, what's going on today that is a part of your story? Unless you're doing that, the tactic doesn't have any fuel. It doesn't have any weight to it. The foundation piece isn't there.
Right. So good. So what's the sort of, the step-by-step plan to pull a story from somebody? I'm sure you have a process and you have a system. What is that? Let's give people some real actionable steps. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement.
Yeah. So one of the things I do with every client, and we do this in every workshop that I give, and I love doing this, and I do it a lot. Also, we do some personal branding workshops and things. I talk to people about, okay, think about what you do, think about what you normally share. And this would be specifically in that piece where people are wanting to find a way to share their story, right? We know we know social media works, we know PR works, we know email marketing and actual, traditional marketing pieces work. And so one of the first steps I'll say when we get to that, and now what, right? I'm never going to say how many times a week someone needs to post. I'm never going to say what platforms they need to be on. That's all very, very personal and very much a part of what you can keep consistent. I want everyone to be able to, if I'm giving you the tools and you're not working with me, then you might have a different capacity than someone who's working with me, and we're going to create the tactic and manage it. And so one of the things I do almost every week with every client is I say, what's on your calendar? And I have people share their calendar with me. I call it's not just a Tuesday. Actually, we talked, and I'll be launching later this month the It's Not Just a Tuesday podcast. And I can't wait. I'll have you there so we can we will talk about your Tuesdays. But I just recorded one yesterday with a client that I've known for maybe more than 10 years. And I meet with her regularly. And these are the questions I ask her. So she kind of knew. It was really fun. One of the first guests that I'm having. And in the process of us talking, she shared pieces of her story that I had never heard. Now I manage their PR and social, and I've known her for 10 years. And there was a piece of her story that, because we were talking in a new way on a new day, she shared this piece of why they started this nonprofit organization that I had never heard. And I was almost in tears thinking, this is why this works. This is so cool.
Right.
So if I'm meeting with folks, I say, okay, get your calendar out, pull your phone out and look at your calendar. What did you do last Tuesday? And it's an exercise that helps people look at what is a part of your life, what is a part of your story. And so often, this just happened at a workshop last month. A woman was launching a interior design business, but design products, right? Really unique. She's working with manufacturers from across the country, small vendor businesses that she's going to be giving this online platform to. A very unique idea. And she couldn't figure out, how do I tell this? We're not launching yet. We don't want to go viral because we don't want to overcommit. And so she's very nervous about how to make this launch. They have all the technical pieces ready. And I said, okay, what's on your calendar last Tuesday? And so she went, it was her turn. She said, oh, well, last week I was at a vendor market and I was meeting with 2 designers and they were showing me the products they have ready. They each have 100 units of this thing and this thing, she's working with an Amish community in Indiana. So she said, this is what I was doing. And we go there about once every other month to meet with the teams who we're supporting. And I said, did you tell anyone that?
I was going to say, that's an interesting nugget.
Right. And she said, well, I told my husband and I said, yeah, if somebody doesn't have something on their calendar, I will also ask them, what did you talk about with your friends this week? Or, when you texted your sister, what did you text them? But I love seeing the aha moment for people when she was like, oh yeah, that's what I do. I meet with these people. I said, okay. I said, document everything all the time. Did you take a picture all day? Oh, I take tons of pictures every time I go. Okay. Did you share any of those? Well, yeah, I sent them to my friend. And so there are these moments, and not everybody has an industry like that, right? But, there was someone who did HR in that workshop. And I said, what's on your calendar last week? He said, well, I had a meeting with a company to redo their employee handbooks. And then I don't do this often, but I will offer to help people rewrite their resumes. And I said, okay. I said, do people know that you offer those services? And he said, well, we'd like to grow that area. And I said, okay, well, did you share that with anyone? That's what you were working on and that you love getting to help people with resumes, or how important an employee handbook is to revisit every so often? Oh, no. So I think we just overthink it.
Well, we're too close to it.
We are.
We think those are unimportant tidbits, right? They're unimportant things. They're part of our everyday life. It is part of your day, right? And so people do not really understand the value of what that can do in their marketing.
Right.
People love to know what's going on in your marketing, right? Yeah, what's going on in your marketing. In your marketing, they like to know what's going on. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yes, they love to see the behind the scenes kind of thing, and to those little nuances and those details and those tidbits that you don't give any thought to. When I'm helping people really dial in high-end offers and who those high-end clients are, you cannot believe the stuff I pull from them that they don't even think about. They're like, well, it's just, it's just what I do. These are blind spots for people. Mm-hmm. That's why what you do is so valuable, because you're letting them see where their blind spots are and showing them what to do with that. Yeah. And so, I love the what's next. I love it's not another Tuesday. Right? Those are great little strategies that you're using there, because it's so true that
we do. The blind spot. I like that blind spot, because it really is. We're in our day. We're doing the day. We're getting our work done, and we're on to the next thing. And so it really is that piece where you have to, but you have to learn how to step back. Everyone says, think picture, but what now? What's the tool to do that? And so I've been able to kind of figure out some strategies that work and that people can do without me or with me. I will share with you that you can share with your folks as well. We just, at the end of last year, launched an ebook on authentic branding. And there's some tools in there. I'm going to do a workbook to go along with it that has some of these pieces. But in it, I share a lot of the questions that I ask with people when we're cultivating their story. What excites you? What empowers you? What gets you up in the morning? And what do you want to share of those things? Not everyone's going to want to take a picture of themselves or a client, or they can't. Maybe they're going to share a conference that they went to. Maybe they're not, and so you can really control that. If you don't want to be on social media or do a PR interview, maybe it's the language that you use in your direct outreach for sales.
Right.
You can choose where you're going to put the story again, like once they have it.
I want to say something to that though, because here's the thing. You may not want to hang out on social media. You may not love social media, but guess what? People, it is not going
gotta be there. I know.
It is not negotiable. If you're going to be a real business, if you're going to stay in business, if you're going to be around, if you're going to be sustainable, even if you're running paid ads for your business, it will lower your advertising cost.
Yep.
People will trust a brand more that they can go and research and look at. And I just want to be very clear to that, because it's so easy for us to say, well, if you don't like doing it, you are really selling yourself short, and you're missing huge revenue and opportunities and income
100%.
if you are not getting over that. I mean, it's just not negotiable anymore.
Something somewhere. And that's why I say, think about your capacity and what you feel comfortable sharing. I never want to be the social media person who's like, you have to do social media, but you kind of do. And for folks who don't,
I say it like it is.
I know, right?
I'm not even bold. I'll just say, no,
yeah,
you need to be
I'm
there.
not trying to do the sales pitch right now, but I have clients who they're not on social media, and that's why they engage with me and my team. We handle everything for them because they don't want to be on social media. And that's what's comfortable for them. And some people, they want to do it all. And then we can just help them with strategy.
But you still need to be there. You still need to be there.
And some have chosen, that's why we do audience development, right? So probably similar in a different way to what you do when you're looking for those ideal clients, right?
Yes. I
don't really care what news you read. I would like to know what your clients read. And so, what groups are they in? What social media are they on? You might not be on social media, but if all your clients are on LinkedIn and you're not, and if they go to look for you there, and there's one post from 2018, they don't think you're viable. They don't.
You lose credibility. You just flat out lose credibility. Yes. Yeah.
It's just, and it's the world that we are in. Whether we like it or not, I really believe that it can be a force for good if we tap
use it in the right way. Well, I will just say, being in business for 30 plus years and building businesses, I didn't always have the luxury of social media and the internet, and I built a lot of businesses without those things. Hands down, people, you are missing out.
Easiest thing.
If you are not leveraging social media. And, where else can you get the kind of reach that you can get literally almost instantly? There's nothing else. I used to have to spend a fortune before I would even find out when that magazine would come out. Is that ad even going to pull? Is it even going to sell? Or the newspaper, you would already be 2 or 3 ads ahead that you've paid for before you would find out if, this ad was going to work. And it was so costly to do business that way. And so many of the resources that we have are free, and you can literally test things for free. Like, there's just never been anything like it.
I know.
So for people to literally put a wall up just because there's a little bit to learn and there's skills to learn, it almost makes me crazy, because I'm like, you've clearly never had to do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah. And that's really why I love what I get to do, because I more often than not see the aha moment and the wall come down when I start talking to people. Or give us 3 months, give me 3 months. And often, if someone comes to me and they say, we didn't put this in our budget, I'll say, okay, well, what are you doing on direct mail or billboards or associations or whatever?
Probably not getting you anything.
Make a shift, right? Let's make a shift for a few months and see what happens. See if your employee engagement has gone up, because they're able to engage with you on social media, right? It's the, you've created a full circle, a conversation both for internal and external. So, I mean, I am such a strong proponent that you choose where, but somewhere, and then, be consistent.
Well, the other thing too, and I've been teaching this for many, many years, is with people, even if you're out networking and you're getting clients that way, or you look, social media can speed those relationships. And so if you're a relationship builder and you're not using social media to speed up those relationships, because look, you can't run around and meet everybody all the time, and you just don't have the time to do that. And so there's so many benefits to it. It's not just about being on a live or putting stuff out there, but there's a million ways to, I shouldn't say a million, but there are a lot of ways.
There probably are. Yeah. It's
use
that, again, like you said about the networking events, right? Mm-hmm. It's you go to those to connect with people. Well, what if all of life was a networking event? Because it is on social media, right? I mean, I'm in Detroit, you're in Missouri. We know each other via social media, right?
People all over the world. Where have we ever had that opportunity before? Ever.
Right. So, you can make connection with like-minded people, with people who need to know about you, with whatever that looks like.
And so targeted too. Very strategic, very targeted, not burning up a lot of time. Right. Actually leveraging your time in big ways. Andrea, I know we could talk about this all day long. I know. We're like in our wheelhouse.
Now we're in the groove of what we like to talk about.
We're in our wheelhouse, but I want to value your time. And this has been so great. I appreciate the giveaway. So we will put all of the links and everything in the show notes, but what would you like to send people to, Andrea, and to connect with you?
Yeah, connect with me at walkerpublicity.com.
Okay.
If you go there, you can see all about us. We've got lots of blogs on there that have thought leadership tips and social media tips. But then also there is a free download of the ebook that is also on Amazon. Authentic branding, cultivating your storytelling. So if you click in that about section, I think there's a link on the main page too, but I'll send that to you. Anyone who wants to download the ebook for free can do that from our website. It's really simple and easy. But feel free to reach out if people have questions. I love what do you think of this? We do several shorter consultation pieces if people aren't ready to jump in. You can see some of those on the website too. If someone just wants to book a couple hours to chat through some things, they can do that with me. And so I obviously love what I do. I love talking about to people. And, if every week I can give someone an aha moment, I'm really happy.
Yeah. You and I are definitely cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
So I love it. This has been such a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. And everyone, go and connect with Andrea. She's on LinkedIn. She's on all the platforms, but go to her website, grab her ebook. And I know you'll get so much value from getting to know her, just like I have. And I appreciate getting to know her. So also share this. Please share this. For other people to get this content is so important. So share this podcast. Make sure you subscribe as well, because we release new episodes every single week with amazing people just like Andrea. And sometimes I do solo shows where I give value, but please subscribe and share. So thank you all so much. Go rock your business. Have an amazing and wonderful day. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about, because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop, where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level, my workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.